All right, welcome to our special on-site edition of Undercooled. We're touring the exhibit halls today, and we're at the Thermo Calc booth right now. So, as our Thermo Calc exhibitor, Adam, could you just tell us who you are, what you're doing here, and how did you get into material science?
Cool. Yeah. Thanks, Tim. My name is Adam Hope. I'm customer relations manager at Thermo Calc. I've been with Thermo Calc for almost 10 years now. I kind of work with all of our customers doing kind of technical support type stuff. So I try to help them solve their problems, figure out where they can use our software tool to help them solve any of their material challenges, things like that. We have a lot of academic customers as well. So I work with a lot of grad students in that same kind of capacity. My background is in metallurgy. I went to Ohio State University for welding engineering. I did all my degrees there. I got my PhD in 2016, and I studied the weldability of some nickel-based alloys, talking about or looking at like solidification cracking and ductility dip cracking and stuff like that.
So are you doing experiment or theory?
A little bit of both, yeah. So we were trying to optimize alloy to be more weldable for the nuclear power industry. And so we did a mixture of computational and experimental techniques to kind of validate that. Yeah.
What made you decide to be a material scientist in the first place? What got you into the field?
Yeah, that's a good question. I actually started, it was one of those like classic cases of I think I didn't know what I wanted to do, right? So I was kind of good at math and science in high school, and then didn't want to move far from home. I grew up close to Columbus, Ohio, so I just decided to go to Ohio State for engineering undecided, which they don't let you do anymore. I have recently found out. You have to declare a major.
As a freshman?
As a freshman.
Oh, we don't allow freshmen to declare. They have to have at least one full term before they declare.
Yeah, so I might be wrong on this, but my partner's a professor at Ohio State, and I think that's what I heard recently is they took that away, so you have to declare. But anyway, I ended up choosing mechanical engineering, and then when I got to dynamics class, I thought this is too hard for me, and I actually had done a small, I wouldn't call it an internship, but I kind of assisted with the freshman level engineering class, and my grad mentor, I was an undergrad assistant. My grad mentor was in welding engineering, and he was kind of like, hey, you should look at the welding department. It's a really nice degree. They have a nice mix of metallurgy and mechanical and electrical engineering.
And it's very unique.
Yeah,
there's
and
not
also
many of those in the country like one.
That's true. I think it's the only ABET accredited program. So I thought that was cool and checked it out, and made the switch.
Excellent. Well, speaking of Thermo Calc then, a lot of students, of course, want to know, how do I get a job? How do I get an internship? What sort of skills is Thermo Calc looking for as an employer? As someone who might want to hire a material science graduate, how do students prepare while they're in school to be a top candidate for a company like yours?
Yeah, so I think the number one thing we look for, I would say, is familiarity with CalFAD tools. It doesn't need to necessarily be Thermo Calc. There are a couple of CalFAD tools out there besides Thermo Calc, but having familiarity with how CalFAD works at a basic level, and what's probably most important is how to apply CalFAD tools to solve engineering challenges, whether those are research challenges or industrial challenges of just process optimization, or something on the factory line stopped working and it's because of a materials problem. How do I solve that? And a lot of times Thermo Calc can be applied in those cases. So just having that kind of familiarity of using the tool is really valuable.
Well, so let me say this directly to my students at home, hopefully listening to this in the future. If hypothetically they had a project in one of their classes where they had a mystery phase show up in a cast aluminum alloy that they synthesized, and they had to use Thermo Calc to try to do some predictive phase modeling of what impurities may have caused that phase to appear, that might be a useful experience to them.
That would certainly be very useful.
Fascinating.
Can you talk a little bit about the kind of people you do hire? Do you hire undergrads? Do you look for master's students, PhDs, or all of the above?
I would say from my experience, I'll mention that Thermo Calc is a Swedish company. So we have a office in Sweden where we do a lot of software development and database development. So that's kind of one kind of arm of the business, is developing the software. And for that, you need programming experience. And I would say the range of hires in that space probably spans the gap. But on the side that kind of I'm on in our US subsidiary, we're mostly dealing with customer-facing type stuff. And so we typically only hire like graduate level people for that. So master's and PhD.
That's really good to know.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So you've helped us. What would you like to talk about Thermo Calc? Why should people consider Thermo Calc since we're here?
I guess, I mean, just even in the context of education, I think Thermo Calc can be, and all CalFAT tools can be really valuable. And even if, you're looking for a job and we're so small, we don't hire so often. But there are a lot of companies, unfortunately I can't say any of them, there are a lot of companies that use, industrial companies that use Thermo Calc and use other CalFAT tools to solve real world problems, and they are always looking for people who know how to use the tools. And so I think it's a valuable skill, whether you're looking for a job at Thermo Calc or you're looking for any industrial job in the materials world. Knowledge of CalFAT and how to apply it is a valuable skill to have. So,
All right. Well, thanks for your time.
yeah, thanks guys.